Week 7. Quick updates. I've graded all the blogs up until this point. I'm currently working on the blogs that you guys just handed in yesterday. I've also graded all of the projects. Most of you should be able to access your scores on Turnitin if you uploaded it to Turnitin. And also realize that I gave audio feedback. So you can access the audio feedback by going down to the bottom right-hand corner of the Turnitin page and clicking on the speech bubble, and then that will open the audio comments and you can play them. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email. Okay, here's what we've got going on. There's a few things I want to talk about for this week. I'd like to do a very brief review of what you guys read last week. I'd like to introduce the concepts that we'll be working on. These are the foundational concepts for your second project. I'd like to explain in detail the work that I'm giving you this week, and then I'd like to briefly talk about extra credit. So to start, the review. I'd asked you guys to read Hidden Intellectualism in Fahrenheit 451, and really I was interested in you guys seeing some relationships between these two texts. The reason that I'm having you guys start with Hidden Intellectualism and that excerpt from Fahrenheit 451 is because in Unit 2 we're still interested in critical literacy, but we're really interested in you learning to think about academic literacy. That is, how to write in an intellectual, sophisticated, or academic way. And both of these texts deal with that issue in their own ways. So for example, in Hidden Intellectualism right here, we have a whole text written by Gerald Graff where he builds the argument that intellectualism has very little to do with content and everything to do with how we speak. And for him, he uses the extended example of sports to show how he was able to learn how to think in a sophisticated way, how he learned how to marshal evidence and build argument and support claims and all of that good stuff. Similarly, when we think about that section in Fahrenheit 451, we have the same idea being discussed, right? Faber really is talking about books, but whereas we think of books normally as just hardcovers and pages, he's not looking at the idea of a book necessarily just in terms of that structure, as much as he's looking at the ideas. And he uses language like, I have my text with me here, that books allow us to express infinite detail and awareness. Later on, he mentions that books provide telling detail and fresh detail. And then he contrasts that to how most people look at information, that the comfortable people want only wax-moon faces, poreless, hairless, expressionless. And so for him, these wax-moon faces are the way that the culture presents information normally, right? In the text, obviously, it's via the kind of screens on the wall. Of course, you guys presented your own examples of Twitter and Facebook and all of these mediums of communication that don't allow us to get into that fresh detail. So for this unit, we're really interested in your ability to write about a subject of your choice in fresh detail. Cool? All right. So for this week, what I'm going to do is introduce you to the criteria for writing in a sophisticated academic way for this assignment. And to do so, I have two videos I'd like you to take a look at. One is all about the kind of basic concepts of this intellectual sophisticated thinking, and then the other I'm calling these modes of reasoning, and these are these patterns of reasoning that are embedded in such types of communication. So I ask that you take a look at these videos, give yourself a little bit of time because the ideas can be a little tricky, and then I ask that you guys start to apply that thinking. So first, I actually want you guys to take a look at some of the excerpts from Hidden Intellectualism, and you're going to now begin to annotate or analyze those excerpts to see these concepts that I'm introducing you to play out in that writing. And then once you've done that, I then want you guys to shift gears a little bit, and so the second part of the blog entry for this week is going to ask that you start to consider a topic that you're interested in, and you start to consider how you could write about it in an academic/sophisticated way. So I'm going to ask that you take a look at the prompt. I've got that posted. I have example thesis statements from previous student papers, so take a look at those, and then we'll get those kind of brainstorming gears in motion. Finally, I want to talk briefly about this extra credit idea that we've started. I opened a discussion board and folks kind of took over. There's a lot of really cool discussions here. And like I had said last week, the way that this is going to work is that in order to be considered for extra credit, you've got to show that you're really involved in these discussions. So you have to at least hop on 3 times. I can then go in and take a look at the 3 comments you've made, and then I'll decide the extent to which you get either full credit, 1 point, or maybe even half credit. Okay, so I've got to go in now and work with the people who put things in last week, but I'll have another discussion board for this week. week, and realize that you guys can start your own threads too, right? Maybe I'll start one thread, I'll hop around in the conversation, but I'm really opening this for you guys to have these conversations that can help you as you move forward in the semester. If you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. Okay, take care.